Hello, all. Anyways, I fixed it. I fixed it, right? Yeah. All right. So about us, news, guest book, and links. None of these work, by the way. Critically praised and financially successful Welcome Home dominated its Saturday morning time slot with its colorful cast of puppets, entertaining and addictive stories, and lively sets unlike anything seen before. Surely a spectacle for audiences of all ages. Okay, where was that? Welcome Home was an American children's television program created and produced by the Playfellow Workshop, which served is wait, does that mean anything? Play. Usually when it comes to this, the Playfellow. The Playfellow Workshop. This is something new, so I doubt there's going to be a feed for it. Far from home, you should head back. Okay. So nothing works for that one. Which served as the studio's only production. Supposedly, its first episode aired on October 11th, 1969, and was broadcast onto an unknown channel until its last estimated air date, sometime in 1974. Welcome Home primarily focused on neighbors, the show's inhabitants, who were accompanied by a mixture of anime breaks and illustrated storybook segments. The setting itself was a colorful and exaggerated design town named Home, with unique elements like a post office and a bodega, as well as brightly colored creatures that live within it. Episodes usually began with Wally introducing the focus or theme for the day before coming across other characters who would join him on his escapades, which until the end of the day. Forgot to capitalize, which would signify the end of the show. All of the characters had notable recurring segments that were sprinkled throughout entirely of the show's run, such as Eddie Deer creating arts and crafts, Sally Starlet performing plays, or Wally Darling painting a picture with the help of other members of the cast. The viewer was often regarded as an additional neighbor with Wally. That's weird. Speaking to them on a regular basis. These puppets are here to stay. Seeing them on a life of their own in Welcome Home, an unfamiliar neighbor is just a friend you haven't met yet. And the world of Welcome Home has plenty of new faces to get acquainted with. Colorful characters like Wally, Julie, Barnaby, and are waiting to meet you. Invite them into your home with toys that will last a lifetime. So that's weird. It's like it's trying to tell me something. Hey, we need to get down to business. So these are just drawings, by the way. I like the character designs. They're pretty cool. May I ask some wisdom of Wally's on this fine day? A voice rang through Home. Wally looked up from his painting. Yes, Wally replied. I hope that helped. Do not what? Do not... Interesting. Welcome was believed to have a 4-year run upon further research before both its abrupt pull from a television in 1974 and complete silence from its entertainment company. The Playfellow Workshop. Welcome Home's success seemed to be set in stone amidst other television programs for its visual artistry, captivating stories, and remarkable puppetry and lively characters. However, all footage is presumably lost, including supposed merchandise, advertisements, vinyl records, and illustrated books depicted on these episodes. However, this reveal has driven us to uncover its whereabouts. We'll learn more about our journey. Cover this. Okay, this is about us. We'll do that later. Welcome home is where the heart is, and Welcome Home's residents are the heart of the neighborhood. Even if you don't live there, you're still one of its most important denizens. But don't worry, with the help of this colorful array of neighbors, it'll just be home in no time at all. It moves. Oh, so it moves. No, it just moves normally. What's going on here? Wally. Wally Darling is the friendliest neighbor in Welcome Home. Perhaps even the best painter too. With a smile like his, it's hard to disagree. Always eager to make new friends and show them around the neighborhood. Wally is happy to lend a helping hand, but you knew that already, didn't you? What? Wally is the most prominent character in Welcome Home, as he is often the focus of merchandise, advertising, and is present in every episode and book. His segments were focused on drawing and painting with viewers. Barnaby was often depicted alongside him, and illustrated pages note that they were best friends multiple times, most notably scenarios where Wally and the viewer are learning something new. They also share similar characteristics, like hearts on the soles of their shoes and paws, of which only Barnaby has the latter. A notable characteristic of Wally is his house named Home. Home is regarded as the ninth neighbor, but seemingly cannot speak, as illustrations show Home speaking only in onomatopoeias, creak, squeak, bang. Sources say, however, that this puppet's eyes could move through a hand crank on the other side of the prop facing from the camera. Additionally, its doors, chimney, and windows were supposedly very animated during episodes. It is implied that Home is the most lively house within the neighborhood, as none of the other houses seem to have eyes. Good, interesting. Alright, let's do this one. Julie, undoubtedly a cheeriest neighbor a puppet could ask for. Julie Joyful is Welcome Home's happiest resident. Amidst such a rainbow of brightly colored neighbors, that's really saying something. Upbeat, silly, and always ready to play with her friends. There's never a boring day in Welcome Home while she's around. She is Frank's best friend. According to the uncovered scripts, Julie was a rainbow monster that was said to have come from deep within the forest that surrounded the outskirts of Home. She lived with her family in a cave but sought out a life of her own and moved away. Many of her skits and activities centered around playing games where they were as familiar as jump rope and hopscotch, or simply made up on a whim. She was often depicted with Frank as a comedic foil on merchandise and advertising, and in the song "The Fun in Your Frown" no track. Recent evidence has revealed that Julie's family consists of 3 siblings who were also rainbow monsters. But with greatly differing color palettes. Their names were Bee, Franny, and Jonesly, but they do not appear to have lived in Home alongside her. There was also a prevalent theme of flowers. This can be seen with Julie herself looking like an open flower from above, and illustrations that would reveal her speaking to flowers to make them bloom. Yeah, this is oddly weird. Anyways, back to this, I guess. So the next one on the list is this one. This guy, Frank. Arguably the smartest neighbor in Welcome Home, Frank Frankly is the resident bookworm with expertise on butterflies. Despite being the grumpiest and grayest of this colorful cavalcade of neighbors, it's good to have someone so organized and matter of fact amidst the bunch. After all, he enjoys being frank, even if he means being frank. Whatever that means, he's Julie's best friend. Frank does not have any known information regarding his origins prior to moving into Homa when compared to others. However, there are still notable attributes that have been uncovered. Frank was often depicted with a book or butterfly net. Since butterflies were seemingly his focus, he was also a source of information for the other neighbors when an answer to a question was needed, as noted in old scripts, but it would often be discredited for comedic effect. Frank would be partnered with Julie as a straight man in various skits, merchandise and advertising, and in the song The Fun in Your Frown, no track found. In the show itself, the puppet appeared with a fixed frown, often had more complex expressions. Any concept work surrounding Frank's puppet could not be uncovered, but there is evidence that has revealed that his head could be fully rotated. Yeah, that's not creepy at all. Next one is where this thing is. Sally. The rambunctious resident in Welcome Home, Sally Starlet shines above the rest. She's a firecracker who is willing to let her imagination run wild in the name of a new adventure, albeit at the occasional expense of her more cautious neighbors. Thankfully, she's got a good head on her shoulders, and perhaps one could even say a sunny disposition to match. According to an uncovered script, Sally had once been the bright star in the sky, even more than those that surrounded her. However, upon looking down at a nearby celestial body from her spot, she knew there were still places she had yet to truly shine and fell from above as a shooting star. She would seemingly accomplish her aspire stardom, as there are only 9 visible neighbors in Home, all of whom know her. Sally was often focused on aspects of the theater, such as acting or singing, which she felt she was more than well versed at from being a star. Because of this, many of her segments often consist of the entire ensemble of neighbors, with her playing the role of a director. The residents would act stories out on a stage, either for the viewer or other neighbors, that would be displayed in the show as storytime segments. Many were focused on fairy tales with abnormal turn, either at Sally's will or her expense, typically through Barnaby's presence and desires to entertain. Wait, what was I on? For desire. Concept artwork revealed that Sally was a live hand puppet, requiring an additional hand to help move her head, as it was much larger than other puppets. Interesting. What? There's not. Oh. Okay. Seems simple enough. Barnaby. A goofy layabout with a love for jokes, Barnaby B. Bagel is Welcome Home's funniest neighbor, always ready with a joke on hand or even a silly observation. This big blue beagle always knows how to have fun, much to the dismay of some of the grumpier residents. Barnaby B. Beagle was a resident jokester who left his life on the farm to move to home, of which he joked as being in the big city. Illustrated books noted he was an orphan puppy that was adopted by the chicken that crossed the road, commonly named Miss Beagle, which proved as motivation to be an entertainer. Similar sources noted Barnaby being able to perform a gangle of tricks such as juggling and bouncing a ball on a ball and steadying large objects on the tip of his nose. Wally was often depicted alongside him, and illustrated pages noted that they were best friends multiple times. Examples included skits in which Wally would typically paint Barnaby in silly poses or where Wally needed to learn something new. They also shared characteristics with one another, such as color palettes, hearts on soles of their feet, and similarly designed outfits. Many of Barnaby's segments were akin to stand-up, often being met with booing, clapping, or having things thrown at him by his fellow neighbors. Okay. Barnaby's middle initial was often rotated in terms of which it stood for. Old scripts cited that he had claimed it stood for Blue, Bark, Bite, and Buddy. It assumed these are all incorrect. Within some illustration materials, Barnaby is depicted with a tobacco pipe. Barnaby's puppet was rotated between a live hand puppet and a walk-around puppet, typically to keep him in frame with his much shorter neighbors. Okay, so he's the tallest. That's what I'm getting at. Poppy. Perhaps the most frank and frazzled and feathered neighbor. From a sprained beak to sunburnt feathers, she always thinks about the worst outcome of a pleasant situation. Then again, it never hurts to have a neighbor with a band-aid on hand. Old scripts depict outline that Poppy had lived with her family in a nest that has been tucked away in a tree hollow deep within the forest, but that she would eventually outgrow to a staggering degree. She would move into an empty barn and home, of which she would give a bird's touch. Poppy insisted she would fly in some... What was going on there? That's weird. Alright, let's continue. Poppy insisted she could fly in some iterations of her dialogue, most notably in her journey to home, but there was no evidence of this throughout the show's run. It is also not clear what kind of bird she is. As she was stated, she is a bit of a flamingo on her father's side and a bit of a hen on her mother's side. She was also noted it's hard to keep track of a family tree. A lot of birds fit in trees, you know. Poppy's puppet is a walk-around puppet that concept work noted had stood at around 8 feet tall, but photographs surrounding her height have yet to be uncovered. Poppy was rarely seen outside of her barn, typically being visited by neighbors instead. Many of her segments focus on bacon, although she has been shown knitting, but she did not have a live hand counterpart, so other puppets were often doing her work for her in various skits. Other puppets were often doing her work for her in various skits. Illustrations note that some possible assistants were Frank, Eddie, and Howdy and Sally. Within the context of the show, this was because she was too scared to use appliances. Poppy. Again, very interesting. We have a lot more to go after this. And we're only, 25 minutes in? Oh. Howdy Pillar is Welcome Home's friendliest and happiest show. Okay, it's a caterpillar. Showkeeper. This colorful caterpillar knows his store like the back of his hands, which is impressive considering how many hands he has. Charismatic, quick-witted, and remarkably jolly, Howdy always seemed to have whatever his neighbors need with a price that can't be beat. Howdy was a small-time caterpillar who wanted to start his own business, of which he accomplished in home as a much larger caterpillar. His bodega was named Howdy's Place and alternatively known as the Bugdega by Barnaby, in which he is their most loyal customer. Howdy was said to have originated from an apple core in a tree alongside his plentiful brothers and sisters, many of whom Howdy would offhandedly mention a plethora of by name throughout the show's run. Illustrated material typically depicted Howdy standing behind the counter of his bodega and at the open window along the side, especially when he is part of skits with other residents. Howdy is rarely seen in the neighborhood sets beyond special occasions, with one of the only other instances being to visit or deliver goods to Poppy himself. Howdy will often exchange goods for funny jokes, silly observations, $1 ideas, and unique gadgets. Noted formerly as being his favorite customer, Barnaby would often appear regularly at Howdy's place. He would supply Howdy with a daily laugh in exchange for a hot dog. As such, old scripts would provide strange lingo to describe the various ways Howdy would prepare his hot dog, such as paint a bow, red and yellow in the winter, and make sure it's got legs, or a full house with a couple of bloodhounds. Howdy's puppets was rotated between a live hand puppet and a walk-around puppet in order to keep him in frame with his fellow residents. Last one, whoever this guy is, or girl. I think there was a girl in one of the posters. I don't know. Reliable, kind, and ever determined. Eddie Deer is the best mailman Welcome Home has ever had, albeit the only one. Despite being a big, clumsy, and forgetful fellow, Eddie loves his job and always manages to deliver everyone's mail right on schedule. Eddie was a mail carrier who moved into home from a distant town in order to establish a post office there, that of which was known as Eddie's Post Office. Despite having a written origin, Eddie had never stated the correct name of where he came from throughout the show's run. The running joke often had him stating a place that did not exist, followed by an admission to misremember it as a place he delivered as opposed to a place he lived. Eddie's segments will often focus on arts and crafts projects he would teach the other residents, which typically kept him behind the post office countertop. Uncover the printed material, focused on preparing mail correctly, whether it was letters or parcels. It would frequently be found in the neighborhood itself. Often paired with a mail bag or a prop to be delivered, he would also become actively involved in skits involving the other neighbors, usually through providing solutions to others' problems through labor. Unlike Hallie's place, Eddie's post office did not require compensation for its services. Home's residents would come and go as they pleased before the day would end. Illustrated pages would note that Eddie had a mother who was a mail carrier, but she was not given a name and only vaguely mentioned. Says that please note this information is pulled from remnants found in illustrated pages and old merchandise. The information is subject to change and expand upon discovering new findings. Interesting. Very, very interesting. About us. The Welcome Home Restoration Project is a team of anonymous individuals dedicated to restoring and archiving what few remnants of Welcome Home has been discovered. It is through these collective efforts that we will awaken the memory of this lost piece of media. We strive to establish a friendly and open community of friends, family, and fans, just like the colorful and quaint neighbors in our beloved home. Love is clear in the messages of Wally Darling and is as much of a hallmark to him as his charismatic smile, his cheery disposition, and his eagerness to understand the world around him. We too hope to spread this feeling of everlasting joy, caring, understanding, and acceptance to all in the hopes that you will join us in our thorough exploration. Together, we will make this house a home. Visitors may wonder how we came to uncover such a show, where we obtained these works and the efforts taken to restore them to the best of our abilities, to which we are happy to open our front doors to you, neighbor. What? Alright, some more general questions. Who are you? For a personal reason, our small collective of WHRP team have agreed upon staying anonymous for our own security and safety. More than that, however, we want to make the recovery of Welcome Home our number one priority and want it to be the full focus of this website. How did you begin your research into Welcome Home? Well, isn't that very interesting? Dark Deceptions. Oh, you're right. Back to this. To be honest, we were drawn in unexpectedly. All the information found on this website was extracted from documents that have been uncovered in brightly colored envelopes. We are thankful to be the first to jumpstart this journey. What do the illustrations, writings, and advertisements look like when you receive them? All the paper materials tucked away inside envelopes we have received are usually crammed together and covered in paint and ink. Despite this, volunteers have both restored and recreated most of what was found in the documents below as an example. Okay, that's not that bad. 9 to... Yeah, it's not that bad. Like a year? That's pretty good. What do illustrations and despite this, volunteers restore and recreate most of what was found on the documents. Below is an example of our work as we extract information from the original document and translate it into a digital state. The original piece in its destroyed state as we have received it. Fully restored by our team with slight alteration to the original. What's different? Well, I guess, no, everything's pretty much the same when I think about it. Huh. Who's this or that? Or those are sisters? Yeah, those are probably her siblings. Our volunteers have also produced spectacular pieces from the information gathered, such as Frank's spinning head, Eddie's removable hat, and heart marks on the bottom of Wally's shoes. We hope more fan interpretations will be able to arise just like this. Why do we make this? What's going on? Is this normal? That's not normal. Why do you make this website? When I unwrapped this first letter, I felt it. I heard it open. When seeing a show before, I could tell I wanted possible. When we wanted to be the first to showcase this last piece of media, to help uncover it. I want it out. I'm going to get it out. Hang on, let me screenshot this. When we wanted to be the first to showcase this last piece of media, to help spur on the search for its existence, many of our guest book signatures have talked about seeing this. Many of our guest book signatures have talked about seeing this show before, so this is a good sign. It is inside of you too, then. What kind of merchandise did Welcome Home have? It is only speculated from what I've gathered. Wait, can you see this? No, you can't. Can you see this? No, you can't. That's good. Yeah, see nothing. It is only speculation, but from what I've gathered, there is a possibility that there are vinyl records, children's toys, and a plethora of other merchandise that have been ordered through various magazines. Someone thinks there is a there's possibly there someone thinks there are parents that make their own Barnaby. Could you imagine? You know how many episodes of Welcome Home there are? Unfortunately, no. We have yet to receive footage from the show, nor a full catalog of all the episodes. We have estimated that the last air date for the show was in 1974, but only because it is the most recent date listed on the script. Wait, what was the situation? Alright, there we go. 40 minutes in. Do you know anyone who worked at Play Fellow Workshop, or are you a former employee? No, I am not affiliated with the company, but we know of Ronald. Hang on. Did that change? I feel like that changed. Alright, it's this one. Creepy. There he is. A for Wally, B for determination. Okay. Are we back the same way? No. This is different. You're reading books now, kid? No, just one. I ain't just like a smart guy to have a short, smart answer. So, it rotated. Apparently they were friends. Or did he have a crush? Or was that's just part of it? Yeah, it's just a part of his design. Weird. Wally's house. Unless you identify with myself, then we could be a terribly match of socks. Today I feel really peppy, or maybe I'm just thinking about Poppy. Interesting. She's taller than him. Yeah, we've come to the end. Everything's done. Everything's done there. Are we able to join your team? At the moment, we aren't accepting new members. But we know of Ronald Dorlame. He must be the creator. We will find other names too. At the moment, we aren't accepting. Who is your favorite resident? Everyone on our team has their favorite. But if you ask me, mine is Wally Darling. He is the most, as we would say, say what? Most what? News. Lots. Hang on a second. Whoops, I totally forgot to open this up. Anyways, welcome home. What was it called? Reddit. Welcome home website. There has to be something about this, right? Right? Wiki. Games, anime, movies, TV show. Yeah. How do you create your own? Create fandom. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna ignore that. Yeah, English. Yeah, I think it works that way. What's going on? Alright, welcome home. It's been an hour and 5 minutes. Wow. I don't see anything, huh? I really do not see anything for this.
Experiences.
It's really nothing too big. Yeah, it was just released like today. Interesting. So people were killed. Hang on. Let me switch this over. There we go. So, yeah, there's this part. This one, there's one with Polly. It's for you. That's the most. There's one where it appears out of hand. You're outside. Book pages, alive pages for some reason. Yeah, this is kind of what I expected in this game. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, there's nothing else. Everything that we've talked about is literally on here already. It's only a 43-minute one, but I extended it to like an hour. So it's interesting already. Oops. Yeah, I don't see anything for this. Maybe another time, but I don't see anything. Well, I'll see you guys in the next one, wherever that may be. Good night. An hour and